For years, we've been told the same story. That artificial intelligence would come for factory workers first, truck drivers, warehouse staff, repetitive manual jobs. And honestly, that story made sense until now, because the people most at risk might not be the ones on factory floors. They might be the ones sitting in offices, the analysts, the marketers, the assistants, the designers, the project managers, the people who believed education protected them, the people who thought office work was safer, cleaner, smarter, harder to replace. But while most people are still arguing about what AI might do one day, something quieter is already happening. It's starting to absorb white-collar work, not dramatically, not all at once, quietly. And that's the mistake people keep making. They compare AI to old automation, but AI doesn't work like a factory machine. It works with language, information, analysis, communication, which means this disruption may hit somewhere very different. This isn't some distant future scenario, it's already happening. Quietly, businesses are already using AI to handle work that used to require paid professionals. Emails, reports, research, presentations, internal documentation, tasks that used to consume hours now take minutes, sometimes seconds. A business that once needed 3 people might now need 1, not because AI is perfect, it isn't, but because it's becoming useful enough. It starts in quiet corners, not with a dramatic announcement, just subtle optimization. A legal team using AI to draft faster, a researcher scanning thousands of documents in minutes, a company quietly discovering they can do more with fewer people. The lights stay on, but the rooms begin to empty. We were told automation would arrive through steel and machinery, but this version is quieter. A model that drafts the first version. A system that spots anomalies faster than humans can. A tool that turns hours of work into minutes. It isn't replacing every worker, not yet. It's making fewer workers necessary. This is the invisible colleague, the one that never sleeps, never takes holiday, never asks for a raise. And for many professionals, the first sign it has arrived will be when they're asked to help train it. For decades, white-collar work felt protected. Manual labor was vulnerable. Knowledge work felt different, safer, because thinking was supposed to be human. Judgment was supposed to be human. Communication was supposed to be human. That assumption is now under pressure, because a surprising amount of office work isn't deep original thinking. It's pattern recognition, information sorting, decision support, communication formatting. And those are exactly the kinds of tasks AI is becoming dangerously competent at. If fewer professionals are needed to do the same work, what happens next? Not just inside one company, across entire industries, consulting, marketing, finance, recruitment, customer operations. One business finding efficiency is a strategy. An entire economy doing it is something else entirely. Because when enough companies realize they can maintain output with fewer people, the pressure spreads, hiring slows, competition rises, salaries stall. And suddenly the question stops being, can AI do this job? And becomes, how many humans do we actually need? But this doesn't mean every professional becomes obsolete. That's too simplistic. History rarely works that cleanly. Technology usually removes certain roles, while making others dramatically more valuable. The question is, who adapts first? Because the people most exposed may not be the least intelligent. They may be the most repetitive. The professionals who simply process information, format communication, follow predictable workflows, while the people who learn to direct AI may become dramatically more powerful. The uncomfortable truth? AI may not replace professionals. Professionals using AI may replace professionals who don't. And maybe that's the bigger story. Not job loss, power. Because every major technological shift changes who holds leverage, who controls production, who makes decisions, who becomes essential, and who quietly becomes optional. If artificial intelligence becomes the infrastructure behind modern work, then the real winners may not be the people doing the work, but the people directing the systems, owning the tools, controlling the platforms, making the strategic decisions everyone else depends on. And if this is only the beginning, what happens when these systems become dramatically better? That's the real question. And this is where it becomes personal, because the people most at risk may not be the least capable. They may simply be the ones doing work that can be standardized. Predictable communication, routine analysis, structured reporting, work that feels skilled, but follows repeatable patterns, and that's uncomfortable. Because many intelligent professionals build careers around exactly those patterns. Not because they lack talent, because the economy rewarded that work for decades. But economies change, technology changes, and the skills that once created security can quietly become exposure. And there's another question almost nobody is asking. What happens when the jobs people use to gain experience start disappearing first? Because if AI handles the repetitive groundwork, what happens to junior analysts, graduate researchers, entry-level marketers, assistants? Every industry needs a training ground, a place where inexperienced people learn the craft, make mistakes, build judgment. But what happens if businesses decide AI can do that groundwork faster and cheaper? You don't just lose jobs. You lose the pathway that creates future experts. And that may be where the biggest divide emerges. Not between humans and machines, but between humans who know how to use these systems and those who don't. Because a single highly capable person using artificial intelligence effectively may soon outperform entire teams built around old workflows. A marketer, a consultant, a founder, a strategist. Leverage changes everything. That creates a new kind of elite. Not necessarily the smartest, but the most adaptable. The fastest learners. The people who understand where power is moving before everyone else does. Maybe that's what makes this moment so important. Not because artificial intelligence will destroy work overnight, but because it may quietly reshape who becomes valuable and who gets left behind. Every generation believes the system they entered will remain stable until it doesn't. The people who thrive in the next decade may not be the people with the most experience, but the people who recognize the shift earliest. Because the future rarely belongs to the strongest. It belongs to the people who adapt first. This is only the beginning. Welcome to Future Dominion.